This is a parliamentary dictation with speed of 80 words per minute. Please like, share and subscribe. Ready? It must be over a year since I first expressed my desire to have a frank dialogue with the representatives of organized labor. I am glad that my colleague has now arranged such a meeting and that you have responded to our invitation. This is one of the most crucial meetings in recent year. We are at a significant stage in the evolution of our political and economic system. Trade union leaders owe allegiance to different political ideologies. Such diversity is expected in an open democratic society. I do, however, hope that within the broad spectrum of organized political opinion ranged around this table, there is a basic unity of purpose and a determination to jointly explore avenues of cooperation in tackling our problems of poverty and social injustice. Para. The Minister of Labour and Employment has posed certain specific issues for your consideration. I sincerely hope that at the end of our deliberations, certain definite consideration are reached. For this, it is necessary to approach the problems facing us with temper and spirit required for their solution. We have here leaders who speak for organized labor, who seek to reflect their hopes and aspirations and to ventilate their grievances. It is perhaps understandable that segment of society should equate its own sectional interests with those of the whole. During the last 2 or 3 years, I have been deeply anxious about the deterioration in industrial relations. Strikes, lockouts and closures have become more frequent and less peaceful. One wonders whether those who speak for management always keep in view the larger picture of Indian poverty. Para, we have strong trade unions to struggle for the interests of labor. We have equally vocal and close knit organizations of management, keen and able to project their point of view, but who is to look after the interests of the vast numbers of the unorganized and the voiceless. I am not speaking merely of consumers, although their interests must also be reconciled with those of labor and management, but in a country with depressingly low standards of consumption, the emphasis even on the interests of consumers become irrelevant beyond a point when trade union leaders talk of protecting the living standards of the working class, or when managements use sophisticated jargon about incentives. They hardly seem to show any concern about the problems of the really poor people. Stop.